Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Paramagurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Good day, viewers. We all know, and probably many of you would have experienced the heart beating on a high note to the sound of forte or loud music. You would have also experienced the mind being very pleasantly happy or contented when you hear your favorite song or music. Similarly, the waves of the ocean, the morning chirping of the birds, the pitter patter of the raindrops in summer, all have a tremendous effect on our mind and heart. It is no wonder we all have a marked preference for certain sounds or certain music which are our favorites. In this talk, I will try to dwell upon the effect of refined sound on humans. What is this refined sound? Just now I spoke about jarring music or forte music or the sound of the wind breeze or the chirping of the birds. But what is this refined sound? Long before the dawn of the so-called modern civilizations, people in the Vedic period understood the effect of sound on ourselves and our surroundings and laid down or composed a huge repository of mantras for every aspect of human life. So that there are mantras for attainment of wealth, there are mantras to improve the health or to reverse the existing diseases, there are mantras which are out to destroy others, and of course there are mantras through which we can attain moksha or the godhead. How does a mantra exactly work? We all have been hearing mantras right from our childhood days without knowing the meaning. Majority of us do not know the meaning. The priest comes and utters some mantras and we are happy with it. Anyway, mantras actually originated from the Vedic texts. We need to understand that these mantras were composed by God Himself in human form. Probably you all are aware that it was sage Vedavyasa who has been the author, or the Vedic texts have been attributed to him. The four Vedas have been attributed to sage Vedavyasa. And we have seen in an earlier episode how the Godhead himself, Lord Vishnu himself, took birth as sage Vedavyasa in order to write these Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, etc. These mantras are used to practically overcome any situation in life. But somewhere down the centuries, in pursuit of material wealth, that is, we humans, in pursuit of material wealth, we have forgotten or misunderstood, or we have been indifferent towards this great gift of a mantra. Okay, let us understand what a mantra is. A mantra is a recitation of certain words in a Sanskrit language, and most of the mantras or set of the words has a definite meter, definite octave, and a way it has to be pronounced. When we recite a mantra, it is a form of controlled breath. We all know that in pranayama, breath control is practiced, whether it is inhalation, exhalation, or holding the breath. This constitutes pranayama. But when mantra is recited, it is a breath control plus also producing or articulation of a sound. So the effect or result of mantra is more instantaneous than any other form of prayer. While mantra can be recited as a japa, that is, you go on repeating the mantra mentally, recitation or pronunciation of a mantra will not only control and regulate breath, but also gives rise to a sound. Just a few minutes back, I told you if there are high beats, you will feel enthused, you will feel excited. Similarly, a soothing sound will have certain other impact. Or your favorite song will elevate your mood. Similarly, a mantra will have effect on our body and mind or heart, so to say, and not only on our body but also on the surroundings, that is the environment. Let me now tell you about a basic mantra. We will see here how, apart from producing the sound, there is a breath control, or there is a way of breathing, that is inhalation and exhalation. I will just show you how to recite the Om mantra or Om mantra as it is rightly called, where by reciting that I produce a sound and also my breath is under control. First, I inhale. You have seen that I initially inhaled to my full lung capacity and started slowly exhaling. And while exhaling, at the same time, I began telling, Om. The M part or the part of the mantra, taking something like 60 to 70% of my exhalation time. So here, I not only controlled the breath, but also produced the sound Om. Similar is the case with all mantras. There are different level of inhalation and exhalation, and at different points different sounds comes out from the mouth, and they will have tremendous effect on our souls and the surroundings. I also want to inform you now that you might have observed that I locked my thumb and index finger like this. This is the Gnana Mudra. Thumb representing the fire and index finger representing the air. So by locking air and fire together, steadiness is achieved. There is a whole lot of knowledge and wisdom behind mudras itself, which I think we can cover it separately. Coming back here, as I just now said, this mantra, the Om mantra, the basic mantra, or any mantra for that matter, had three aspects. One is the breath, next is the sound, and the third is the action or the mudra. How effective was my mantra? Normally, we see people complaining that in their experience they have recited so many mantras, or they did so much of japas, and different types of mantras were recited, but there was no perceptible or positive response. Why does this happen? Not that as soon as we recite a mantra, things will magically change. It requires practice, it requires steadiness, and there are a lot of other things which I will be telling in a while. The reason why many of us, even with the recitation of mantra, why we are not able to achieve the desired results are basically many. First, the breath should be correct. That is, the breathing aspect should be taken care of. How do we achieve this breath control? Depending upon the mantra and the way it has to be recited, breath is automatically controlled. Repeated recitation of a mantra will set in rhythmic inhalation and exhalation, which does the healing of the body, mind, heart, and also produce certain vibrations which protect you from the negative forces. Not only will it protect you from the negative forces, but it will attract the positive forces towards yourself. We have to clearly understand that breath depends upon the mantras or the sound we produce. So it becomes very clear that unless the sound, pronunciation, the octave of the mantra is not recited clearly, the breath also suffers. To understand it in a layman's language, let us take the musical instrument veena. You have all seen veena, no? With that big dome, and it is a stringed instrument. If the instrument is perfect, then there is a harmonious melody coming out of that veena. Of course, the player should be good. Let us say if the resonator or the big dome which we see in the veena is damaged or dented or with some defect, then the exact intended sound will not be produced. Similarly, we should consider our mouth as the resonator. If we have a perfect set of teeth, a proper set mouth, and of course the proper mantra at our command, and if we recite it, it will resonate perfectly. When it resonates perfectly, the breath also automatically controls. So that the control of the breath and also the sound will have positive impact. Depending upon the mantra, improvements can be seen in our circulatory system, or in our respiratory system, or in our digestive system, and things like that. Moreover, or more importantly, it sharpens the brain. We will be more alert, concentration will be better, and there is improvement in memory. A whole lot of research needs to be done if we have to convince the present day generation about the usefulness of the mantra. To my understanding, our science is behind by, say, something like 50, 100 years in order to understand the impact of mantras. So till then, let us follow the mantras, let us recite the mantras, and let us get the benefits of it. Let the scientific community do that work. We will admire their work, and when it is proved 50 years from now, 70 years from now, or 100 years from now, let it be proved, we are happy. But till then, let us practice. Now, let me show you another simple mantra in the form of a japa. I mentioned a couple of minutes back. I will be repeating a simple mantra about 3 times. If you plan to do it with me, here is how it goes. Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha. Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha. Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha. Achyutananta Govindabhyo Namo Namaha. Here, I use the breath, I produce the sound, and I used the hands as an action. In one inhalation, I completed 3 times repetition during the exhalation. So this is one cycle. Correct posture, peaceful atmosphere, and a steady state of mind will contribute enormously to the success of mantra by triggering various cells in our body and also beyond that. Many of you are aware how the Agnihotra mantra, more than having effect on the body, it affects the surroundings to a very large scale. Now, this brings us to one more question. Is mantras are mantras always to be recited in Sanskrit? The unequivocal answer to this is yes. Belief has it, as I said earlier, that all mantras came from the Godhead himself through Vedavyasa in Sanskrit language. And definitely mantras wouldn't have the same effect if it is translated to any other language and recited. Reason being, as I said earlier, a mantra has a definite meter, pronunciation, and octave. By translating that in the any other language, we can understand the meaning of that mantra, but the exact reproduction of the sound which it was meant to be will not be produced, and thereby it will not have the desired effect. While ritualistic mantras are recited loudly, some of the mantras we can do it as japa, as I told you earlier. The entire idea of that mantra is to trigger the vibrations, which will have a beneficial effect on the reciter and also the surroundings. Probably all of you must have heard or seen a news report, a couple of years back, where when a homa was done with offerings and mantras were recited in a small village in Kerala, Punjal or Panjal, clearly don't remember, but it is in Kerala. The purity of air up to few kilometers drastically improved. That is what it was scientifically proved. So I would like to conclude this talk here because there are a huge number of mantras and their application, recitation is an enormous repository which needs to be tapped. It is clearly unfortunate that, as a Kannada saying goes, having butter in hand, we are searching for the ghee in the Western world. Young men and women of India are really talented and highly intelligent compared to many other nations. However, it is a sad story that they were not shown the right path during their younger days. Our history was distorted. Our Sanatana Dharma was put under the ground, and nobody talked about those things. Nobody analyzed the benefits. Youngsters, they were not even aware of this. Anyways, hope and pray that our youngsters shed their prejudice and approach our ancient wisdom and try to unravel them for the benefit of mankind. Thanks for listening to this small talk. Have a good day. Bye.